What's up, Part A'ers? Here we go. We are now reviewing for our final exam. Make sure that we're working super hard this week. We want to finish on a strong note, and then you can have a wonderful break. Okay, so here we go. First video, evaluating expressions. The very first thing we need to talk about is when we have expressions with exponents in them, okay? So if we see something like this in words, 3 to the 5th power, well, we need to understand that to write that in exponential form, we write 3 to the 5th. And basically what I want you to understand is you're saying 3, okay? You're taking the value, whatever number it gives you, 3, and then whatever the power is, that's the number that goes in the exponent. All right, so we could go ahead and we can do this next one too, right? 6 to the 4th power. Well, that's 6 to the 4. All right. So if we just make a quick note here, I would say that the exponents, or the little numbers up in the right-hand corner, those are always the powers, okay? The powers. All right, now, what does it mean? What does it mean? Well, the power tells you how many times you're going to multiply the number by itself. Okay? So in this case, because it's 3 to the 5th power, that means that I need to multiply 3 by itself 5 times. So 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. All right? Do we have 5 of them? 1, 2, 3. Yes, this is good. All right, notice I'm not getting an answer here. I just want to know the meaning. All right, I just want to know the meaning. What happens when I have 6 to the 4th? Well, same idea. Here's my number, 6, being raised to the 4th power, or being multiplied by itself 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and again, I am not evaluating this. I'm not getting a value for this. I'm just leaving it like this. This is the meaning. Now, when we move on to the next section, you'll see why there's a slight difference in the phrasing, okay? Now, in this next section, it's actually asking you to evaluate. Okay, so now I don't want the meaning. I want the actual value 2 to the 5th. So, please understand, I'm not looking for you to write 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. All right, that's the meaning. So I'm going to cross that off. That's not what I want right now. What I want is, on our calculator, well, we could do 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, because we knew there were 5 2's, so that would get us the answer. But do you guys remember there's an easier way? We can use this little caret button. That means we're raising to the power of, okay? Or the exponent button. So I'm going to take 2, and I'm going to raise it to the 5th power, and I'm going to hit enter, and what do you know? We get the same exact value. Either way we do the problem. Okay, but please understand the difference, right? Evaluating means I should get a value. Meaning, the meaning means I want to write out what what's actually happening when I write 3 to the 5th or 6 to the 4th. Okay? So, we'll go quickly through these next two because I think you guys could do them. 3 to the 3rd just means that I would hit 3, raise it to the 3rd, enter, 27. Easy peasy. And the last one, 5 squared. Let's see here. 5 to the 2nd power, 25. Okay? Alright. Hopefully we remember all of that, okay? Now, the next section, order of operations. We worked a lot on this, and I hope you guys remember the phrase PEMDAS. All right, PEMDAS. What I'm going to do is above, just because there's some space there, I'm going to write out what PEMDAS stands for, okay? So it's parentheses and exponents, and it's multiplication / division, and it's addition / subtraction. Okay? And please understand where the PEMDAS comes from. So it comes from the P, the E, the M, the D, the A, and the S. PEMDAS. Okay? Now, I need to do one more explanation type thing before we start working, and I want you to understand I put slashes in between multiplication, division, and a slash. I know you can't really see it here. Let's put that back. Addition and subtraction. And that is because when you have, or they're on the same level. I'll put it that way. Multiplication, division, they go together. Same with addition and subtraction. So you need to understand when there are multiple multiplications or divisions, you must go left to right. And I'm sorry I'm lefty. I know it's hard, so you guys are going to have to take some notes after the fact. Okay? When there's multiple multiplications and divisions, you must go left to right. And I'm going to say the exact same thing with addition and subtraction. When you have multiple additions and subtractions, you must go left to right. And we're going to see that in a little bit now that we have our notes taken. Okay? So, again, I'll try to leave it right like here so we can see our PEMDAS and we can see our hints down at the bottom. But let's get to work now. Oh, what do you know? Here we go. I see that I have a minus and a plus in the same problem. Okay? Now this is a great first problem. Why? Because normally the A comes before the S, and we would want to add before we subtract. But what did we say? These are on the same level. Okay, so you have to go left to right, which means I am not going to go addition first. I'm going to do 6 minus 16 first. Okay, when I do 6 minus 16, I get negative 10. And then I have to bring down the plus 5, and now I can get my answer of negative 5. Okay? Okay. The next problem, also a really good problem to talk about parentheses. When we say parentheses, we mean we have to do what's inside the parentheses first. But guys, is there anything really happening inside the parentheses, or is it just a value? It's just a value, so we don't really have anything to do inside the parentheses. So we kind of just go back and we follow our order of operations. And we say, well, I have addition, and I have some more addition, so I'm going to go left to right, which means I'm going to do 6 plus 16 first, which I know is 16, and now I'm going to add that negative 6. So if we want to use what you just learned with our one-step equations, we can always do 16, and when we have a plus minus, we can rewrite it, right? What can we do? We can do 16 minus 6. And so we know that that's going to be 10. Guys, the other option is, remember, you have a calculator. Okay, you're going to have a calculator, so you could always just punch it in. 16 plus negative 6, and you get 10. Either way you do it. Okay? Cool. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, I have division, I have addition, I have multiplication. All right, this is a good example of one where we don't have any parentheses, we don't have any exponents. I have multiplication, but I see division, and it's more to the left, right? So we need to go and we need to do this first, because we always like to go left to right. All right, so I'm going to do 50 divided by 5, which is 10 plus 4 times 5. Now, be very, very careful. Can we still just go left to right? Can we do addition before multiplication? Absolutely not. Okay? So this is where you need to remember that multiplication comes before addition. So I need to do 4 times 5 first. So 10 plus 4 times 5 is 20. And now I have a nice, easy addition problem to finish. Okay? So we got an answer of 30. All right. Let's keep going. All right, I see some parentheses, and ooh, good. It's not just a value. So this is what we're looking for, guys. We're looking for parentheses where we have to do work inside the parentheses first. That is the very first thing that we should always do. So this is going to be my first step because P comes first. So 4 Well, 30 minus 18, you can either use your calculator or you can know that that is 12. And then I'm going to bring the rest of the problem down. Okay. This is a good example, and actually something that we did back in chapter 2. When we have a value, some number, outside of parentheses, what does it usually mean is happening between these two numbers? I hope you just said multiplication, because that is absolutely right. So guys, even though there's no multiplication sign, we know that this is multiplication, and then this is addition. So what are we going to do first? Go back, up, multiplication. So I'm going to do 4 times 12. You know what? I'm just going to 4 times 12 is 48. Okay, I just wanted to check. 48 plus 12. And now I could finish up by saying 60, right? 48 plus 12, 60. Beautiful. Okay. All right. We're down to the last two. Oh, man. These look a little crazier. Cool. So let's take a look. I see a set of parentheses in this, but is there anything to do inside of the parentheses? No, there is not. Okay, so I don't need to do anything with the parentheses. Now I go back and I start looking for exponents, and what do you know? I see exponents both in the top and the bottom. Now, one other thing, one strategy that we can use when we have a fraction bar or a division bar, you can kind of work on both the top and the bottom all at once. Like you can do one step for each. So in this case, I'm going to say that I have, well, 5 to the second power. 5 to the second power is 25. Okay, so 25 times 2 all over. And then I'm going to take care of this 6 squared at the exact same time. Okay, so 1 plus 36 minus 12. Okay. All right, cool. We're getting there. Again, let's do one step in both the top and the bottom. Well, we know that this top is going to be multiplication, so I'm going to say 50 over, which you need to be careful of. What do I have to do first? You have to go left to right. Because it's both addition and subtraction, you need to go left to right. So I'm going to do 1 plus 36 first. So I'm going to have 37 minus 12. And now I can continue on saying that this is 50 over. And 37 minus 12 is 25. What do we got? 50 divided by 25 is 2. Okay, last one. All right, when we look, I see some exponents in the bottom. So that's great. I do want you to remember, though, that you can do one step in both the top and the bottom when you have a fraction bar. So we can do this 21 plus 9. We can say that that's 30. And then we can clean up the exponents for our bottom. So I'm going to say that 5 squared is 25. All right, here we go. 25 plus 40 minus 5. Hopefully you guys are agreeing with me at this point that because I have addition and subtraction, I need to go left to right. I need to do the 25 plus 40 first. So the 30 in the top will stay. 25 plus 45, 25 plus 40, is 65. Then 65 minus 5, I should be putting equal sign, sorry guys. What do we have? 30 over 65 minus 5 is 60. And then what happens when we do 30 divided by 60? We get this 0.5. That is more than okay, guys, if you want to use that as your answer. One other thing that you can do, and remember, because this is helpful just to know for this class, is we can always use our fraction bar too. Everyone hopefully remembers the fraction bar is this n over d, so I do 30 over 60, and that actually gives me a nicer number. I like that fraction a lot more. So I'm going to say 1/2. And that is a review of evaluating expressions. So at this point in time, you should look over to the next page and try numbers 1 through 4 on your own. See you in the next video.